Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time to embrace a youthful mindset and envision your future. Take the lead is in your walls.
Take the lead is in your walls.
This platform serves as a space for engagement designed to equip young people to become effective leaders. They are actively contributing, creatively engaged, and determined in various fields. And now, this is Take the Lead.
Hello to you, West Africa and the world at large. Welcome to Take the Lead, your exciting youth program here on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. My name is Augustine Cully, and today, this 17th edition of the program will focus on the role of young people into peace-building initiatives. Please follow us right now on 94.9 FM. We are also streaming live on YouTube at WADR News and on Facebook, WADR English Service. You can also get us worldwide at wadr.org and listen live and direct from wherever you are. As a reminder, we will be reading your comments on the live broadcast, so please comment, express your opinion regarding the topics, and we will certainly get you out. Peace building and conflict prevention are crucial elements for the growth and development of any society. These efforts have been primarily led by governments, civil society organizations for a very long time, leaving out the crucial role of the youth that can be playing in these processes. However, youth have immense potential to contribute to peace building and conflict prevention efforts in various ways. This edition of the program will delve into the role of youth in peace building and conflict prevention, highlighting their potential and the challenges they face.
Take the Lead is back in 2025 with a brand new format. Yes, your youth exchange space will now be broadcast live every Friday at 4:05 p.m. Universal Time. And that's not all. Dear internet users and WADR subscribers, you have the opportunity to experience the show live and direct on our online platforms on Facebook at WADR English Service and on YouTube at WADR. Take the Lead every Friday from 4:05 p.m. Universal Time and rebroadcast same day at 1 a.m. Universal Time. Also on every Tuesday, your youth program will be rebroadcast at 7:15 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. GMT. Take the lead and champion the discourse for the betterment of young people.
Great. What a nice one there. Of course, that's the charge. We often charge you to take the lead in championing the discourse for the betterment of young people. So, joining us on the show today are very bright-minded young people. Among them is Ousmane Touré. Ousmane Touré is a young Senegalese communication specialist. He's right here in studio with me. How are you doing, Ousmane, and welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing wonderful.
Is it your first time in our studios?
Not the first time, but
Okay.
my first time as a guest,
Okay.
speaking or intervening. But I have coordinated some of, in my work, of course, some of our media engagement and brought here some of the senior officials in companies and organizations I work for.
So how do you feel now as a guest
Yeah, being
here
on
today?
the stage. Yeah, absolutely. I feel amazing about it. I'm many of my friends have been telling me about the opportunities in here to speak and reach out to young people in different audiences with ideas. I've always been interested in doing so. Time hasn't allowed it, and I am happy that this time around I'm making myself available to do so.
Okay, wonderful. Now, aside from Usman, we also have Sedu Ibrahim Bangura. Bangura is a community education and training officer at Youth Partnership for Peace and Development in Sierra Leone. How are you doing, Bangura, and welcome to the platform today?
Hello, Augustine. Hello, my honorable guest. Saido, I'm very happy to join you guys in this conversation. I'm sorry for the noisy background. I will soon find a convenient area to, smoothly discuss with you guys. Thank you.
All right. We really appreciate you doing that, as well as B. David Oluwasigon. And David is a digital marketer and youth development advocate from Nigeria. How are you doing, David? And welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much. I'm doing fine. I'm buzzing to be here, and I'm happy to give my take on the topic of today. Thank you very much for having me.
Great. It by any means or chance we have Nadia from Ghana. We will certainly usher her in to the program. Now, let's listen to our respective guests as they share their personal understanding about what is meant by young people being involved with peace building processes. And we begin with Usman right here with me. Tell us, when you hear the word peace building, what runs to your mind?
So many things.
Okay, you can please engage the microphone. Thank
Yes, so many things actually. When we talk about peace building, we are talking about how we want to see our society peaceful, prosperous, and very, very inclusive. And we all know that we cannot all live together if we're not in peace. So peace is important. So when I hear peace building, I hear coalition, I hear inclusivity, I hear everyone bringing in what they have, what they can, to make sure that efforts are coordinated to reach that goal of having a society that's stable, that where everybody can be, prosperous, everybody can be, just let's say free and enjoying the opportunities that's around. So to me, really, peace building is something key, fundamental even for our societies to function properly.
Great.
Without peace, nothing is possible.
Great. Let's hear you out, David. What's your own personal understanding about peace building? David, are you getting us? Okay, I think we will get him back, but then we can hear from Saidu Bangura. Saidu, please share with us your own understanding about peace building.
Yes, Augustine.
Yes.
Yeah, please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, you are very clear.
Okay. So, my own understanding about peace building is that it spans beyond just conflict prevention, conflict mitigation, and it's about creating a sustainable pathways, in order for us to enhance the socio-economic performances of young people. For me, that's peace building.
Okay. When we talk about young people being involved with peace building processes, how would you term that?
Yeah, well, it means young people being actively participated or being, having a voice in where matters, in taking discussion that, in areas where they make decisions for them. So I believe that young people should be actively involved in matters of, political importance.
Okay.
Platforms where young people's young people empowerment should be created.
Okay. The processes of having these young peoples participating in peace building processes is a kind of concern because over time, this initiative has been led by government, by CSOs. Now, what is the importance of these young people taking initiative of these peace building processes to you, Usman?
Well, actually, governments themselves have recognized the role, a crucial role, that youth play in peace building. Actually, there's a lot of framework, institutional frameworks available on the continent that details that. For example, at the African Union level, the 50th anniversary, I think, they recognized that sustainable development and economic prosperity are things that we cannot achieve without lasting peace. And then young people have a very, very important role to play in achieving that peace. Now, the issue is not about having young people's voices heard. It's about making those voices that are heard matter in the decisions that are being taken to deal with peace and security on the continent. So we have now seen that, there are frameworks that exist, like the Lusaka AU roadmap that was adopted in 2017. We have the Africa Youth Charter, where in its article 11, I think, is about youth participation. And there it details the practical steps that African governments should take to promote youth empowerment and youth participation in issues like security, peace building, and other steps. But the problem is still that we're only having youth represented as a decoration. It's tokenism, if I can say so. But the real power to have your voice not only heard but taken in charge into the decision process. That's where we should be reaching right now, making sure that young people are on the table, right? But they're just not given the seat at the table to be there for photo shoot or just to say their mind and collect DSA and return back home. We should make sure that they have the mandate, the trust, but also the real power to make a difference in these initiatives.
Who should be ensuring that these young people have the power?
That's exactly what's the problem. The problem is that the architecture right now is giving the whole power to the governments and these policy makers. So young people are just invited. And when you're invited, then you don't have much, control over how things are being run. So you just say, come along. We're having a conference there, and then we bring out we have an AU youth envoy, we have some peace ambassador that are young people. So they're very good initiatives like that, where you see them and you're like, oh, young people are represented. We see, a brother flew to Tanzania in a conference where they discussed peace and security. He took the floor, he spoke. All of that are all good, but what comes after that? Like, what is the real advantage or the real benefit from participating in these instances? And is that kind of representation really representative of, this whole idea of having young people involved in the peace building initiative? So I think unless we have a very strong institutional representation of young people where they have the power to not only be invited, but also have the power to make these decisions and exert pressure on the governments to listen to them and take their ideas into account.
Now, let's hear from you, David. Considering the willingness of these young people to engage into peace-building processes and conflict resolution, are you seeing the willingness? Are you seeing the anxiety to get involved into these processes? Do you see that within the young people from your country, Nigeria? Is David following? Are you getting us, David? Okay, then we will transition to Saidu. Saidu, can you just respond to that question? In Sierra Leone, how is it like? Are you seeing the willingness from young people to engage into peace-building processes, given the fact that almost all of our West African countries have had issues of crisis with the young people's been involved as the factors for these crises?
Oh, yes. There is much willingness from young people in Sierra Leone, in peace building initiatives. Like I said initially, peace building just spans beyond just conflict prevention. Of course, there will be no development without peace. And of course, it is important that young people are being empowered. So there are a lot of being led by young people in Sierra Leone, in different aspects, in SIHR, promoting rights of young women, young people, and of course, also promoting the initiatives like alternative livelihoods, in promoting climate justice and adaptation and resilience. So all of these initiatives, I've seen the willingness of young people in my country. There are so many organizations that are youth-led, that are working tirelessly, to ensure that some of these, aspects are being promoted, even with limited resources. There are willingness. There is great amount of willingness from young people on the side.
But there's also a concern that these very young people are the main perpetrators of violence. How do they now take upon the responsibility of ensuring peace when they are being quote unquote described as the troublemakers? With you, Utsma.
Well, it's a twisted way of putting things because young people buy into violence, but who is proposing the violence? Like, what is the cause of that violent reaction or that violent enterprise? If you have young people that are not educated, that are not included, that have, basic access to basic things like education, health, and stuff, and they're not equipped with the critical thinking, the knowledge, and the opportunities to refuse, when they're exposed to ideologies like radicalism and all these other stuff, to violent stuff. So we need to go back to the root causes of these things, address those root causes. Not say young people are being violent, but why are they being violent? If they have the opportunity, if they go to school, if they're shown love and treated with love, respect, if they're heard and included in society and how it works, and they feel that they have the responsibility to drive things forward and they're really trusted to do that, why would they go and buy in violence? They wouldn't do that. So in many instances, and research have shown that terrorist organization and these other violent people come from a background where they lack love, where they lack opportunity, where they lack decency in terms of, how they live. So whatever they can find and do to make a living, they will. I mean, that's how human beings functions. So I think we should shift really the conversation from just seeing the result of the situation, like as them being violent, and getting ourselves interested in why they are violent and try to solve that. Because I think, if we don't do that, we miss the point.
With this been said by Usman, to you, Bangura, aren't the young people the prime cause of violence in Sierra Leone? Are they now being branded as the troublemakers there in Sierra Leone?
Yes, there is. We have continental. I would say, because Africa, our problems are kind of similar. Especially when it comes to dealings of young people. Yeah, young people are being branded as troublemakers, but for now, we are seeing a huge shift in that branding. There are more young people now, trying to empower them into being empowered in skills. Yeah. So there is significant change in that particular branding, because as you all know, we experienced a decade-long civil war, and because according to our TRC report, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report, it's the findings reveal that because of unemployment, youth unemployment and marginalization, that was one of the main triggers of the war, because young people were used as as the frontal of the wars. They were weaponized, and led, to make this destruction and all. But moving away from the war to now, there have been a lot of changes, in establishment of institutions, TVET, technical vocational institutions, that aim to empower young people in order for them to have, that kind of shift in ideology to not just see them as, to just see themselves as just young people, but people who can meaningfully contribute to the development of the country.
And now, can you point to some examples, if not you are involved, but how have you seen young people? What are their engagements in Sierra Leone? Are there youth groups that you know going about creating awareness on peace building, specifically calling on the fellow young people to avoid conflict? Do you see these groups? Can you mention some of them that you know of?
Yes. There have been a lot of youth-led engagements. My own organization, as an example, is a youth-led organization. We also belong in a network. We have a network of young peace builders in Sierra Leone, and also there is also an organization, the West African Network for Peace Builders. We collaborate with these regional bodies, in order for us to foster peace. Recently in 2023, we organized one of the biggest youth peace summits in Sierra Leone, where we brought together young people, policymakers, to discuss around some of the structures that these very structures that are supposed to, protect the peace that we enjoy, but these very structures lack the mandate to ensure that youth participation and involvement is being enhanced.
Okay, that's great. What's about you, David? In Nigeria, Nigeria is a very big country with a kind of large population, especially in Africa. Tell us, these young people on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, and other major cities, how do you see them engaging in peace building awareness? Are they involved? Are they even involved in that in Nigeria?
Yes, this.
You're coming in broken, David. I think it's network problem. Maybe you can make an adjustment and you
Hello?
get. Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
For me, Nigeria,
Well, you have to make an adjustment. Please, maybe shift a bit and then you could be clearer. Let's hear from Utsma in terms of Senegal here, like you, but let's look at other young people initiatives. Do you know of any that are involved with peace building processes, especially Senegal's history of these political violence, young people being involved? What can you say about their involvement into peace building processes?
Yeah, no, actually, there's several initiatives that you may see around peace building in the country. As my brothers from Sierra Leone said, peace building goes beyond violence, armed violence, and stuff like that. It's about promoting also this idea of a society that's inclusive, that's just, where we respect human rights and all of that. So we have organizations that do that, civil society organization, Forum Civil, ONG Trade, campaigning and training young people in remote areas where they're like marginalized neighborhoods, where those people are more, the tendency is really there to be violent because they wake up without food on the table, and all of those things that might get you to be like, all right, I'm just gonna blow up. So you can see grassroots initiatives that are informal, that are not by the government, but that are deeply impactful. Online campaigns, for example, against hate speech. Right, we have Divan Citoyen, which does a great job on Twitter, organizing every Sunday debates that are open on given topics, to invite experts and people who can bring an added value to the conversation. Sure. So we really have young people very, very dynamic. They're not stopping the work. They're actually working on the sidelines of government's initiatives. But the thing is, it lacks recognition and support. Because the same people who brands them as violence, they're the same people that use them for violence.
Okay.
So that's really the whole issue here. But young people are on the ground. They're doing amazing work. I know several civil society organizations that I can name that are on the ground, like in every region of the country, training young people, equipping them with critical knowledge, with the tools, with opportunities, so that they can be not only peace builders, but they can also be, change makers and drive change in these communities.
Great. Now, so far we've listened to interesting interactions by our guests on this 17th edition of Take the Lead in the year 2025. Let's now travel to Mali, where many young people are fully committed to consolidating peace and social cohesion within their communities, which have been, weakened by conflict. Youth associations organize training and awareness campaigns in this area so that they can be actors in the promotion of peace. As you know, Mali is in the Central Sahel region that is facing acts of terrorism. So our correspondent in Mali, Aliou Cham, met some young people carrying out these peaceful initiatives, and to fight this report, voiced by Sankule Janko.
The Youth Association for Active Citizenship and Democracy, EJICAD, recently organized a 3-day forum on peace building in Mali. Several young people from different regions of the country participated in this meeting. The objective was to train these young people to become key players in promoting peace within their communities. Boubacar Sidibe is a member of EJICAD.
Since 2013, our country, Mali, has fallen into a crisis that has affected all the foundations of our society. What we wish is to involve the Gen Zs in the search for solutions to the security problems that Mali is facing today. The youth are not sufficiently involved in the search for solutions to the Malian problems. That is why we want young people to get more involved in order to reflect while revisiting our historical past and truly find alternatives, mechanisms for managing our conflicts.
During the session, the young participants learned how to manage conflicts and the role to play in preserving peace. Nana Khadija Fane is one of the participants.
Today, young people are increasingly involved with dynamism and determination in the consolidation of peace and a clear willingness to engage in dialogue. These young people also embodied a conscious understanding of their role in conflict prevention and the promotion of community coexistence. As young people, we're not here to dominate, but we are here for actions to bring people together, and foremost about rejecting indifferences.
As young people are the first victims of conflicts through this training, EJICAD hopes to support projects aimed at strengthening the role of young people in peace building. In addition to training, the Youth Association for Active Citizenship and Democracy also organizes awareness campaigns on the dangers associated with conflict. However, it calls on the authorities to involve young people more in the process initiated towards lasting stability.
That was a report from Bamako by our correspondent Aliou Cham, voiced by Sankule Janko.
Hey people, my name is Mello, Afrobeat singer from Guinea and Conakry. I love listening to the program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Hello, my name is Fatou Bintarasuke. I'm the CEO of African Start Shop, and I love listening to your program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
All right, welcome back to Take the Lead, your premier youthful platform that sets the agenda for topical discussions all about young people within the West African sub-region and beyond. We are streaming live on YouTube at WADR News, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and worldwide at WADR.org. Let's now recognize our partner stations that often relay this broadcast, beginning with Nigeria, where we have Darling FM in Owerri, Nenzit FM in Kaduna State. In Liberia, we have Alternative Youth Radio in Lofa County, DCN Radio in Riverses, Kwatika Radio in Bong County, and Radio Bombing there in Bombing County. There in Sierra Leone, we have African Young Voices in Freetown, Radio Baf, Mile 91. We have the Hands of Hope in Freetown, as well as the Eastern Radio in Kono District. Now, in Ghana, we also have our partners there. We have Radio Path in the Savannah region. We have Royals FM in Wenchi. Now, in neighboring Gambia, Numi FM is there in the North Bank region, and we also recognize Radio Veritas there in Banjul. It's often a pleasure to have these radio stations rebroadcasting this program. Now, welcome back to this second segment, and this time we're focusing on the challenges these young people face while carrying out peace-building initiatives. Usman, you spoke a lot about the willingness of these young people to some extent, how they need support. But let's look at the challenges they face. What would you consider that some of the challenges these young people face in carrying out peace-building processes?
Well, I may have mentioned during my earlier talks some of the avenues that maybe we should explore to make sure that young people's initiatives in peace building or any other sphere, just to say, are effective and impactful. And the first link to all of it is to have a strong institutional framework where powers to decide and to act, like the mandate to act, is effectively transferred to young people. Like, they're not only invited or seen, or they're not begging for permission or recognition, but they have the space that is largely given to them in consultation with other young people like them, and understanding the situation. They can bring about solutions that they can put in action. So that's what we need, because we've seen young people involved or associated in so many things at government levels, but it still is not making the youth agenda move forward. It tells you that what they really need is empowerment from an institutional standpoint, where they have the political, the economic, and all these powers transferred to them. And of course, you not take your freedom and say, we're not working with the government, we're not listening to you. It's a society. We all have to bring in our contributions to make it go forward.
So in other words, the government, the CSO, or the authorities are not providing these opportunities to the young people?
Well, on the paper, yes. But in practice, this is not empowered. This is not, I don't know how to say it, but it is not supported as it is supposed to be. So you have young people who have ideas and who are on the ground doing amazing work, but then another institution that's more formal will be there with the means, with the decisions. Like, you see what I mean? There's the gap between what's really happening on the ground and what is being counted as, a legal, or let's say a formal action to say. So that's the first challenge, having young people not only invited to sit at the table, but they recognize, they voice, like, acted as something that has the power to change things. So not, mere representation, but really impactful representation. So those platforms really should be enacted to have young people to be more, dynamic in determining their contribution and making sure that they are operational rather than only being part of the operation.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear from you, Bangura. What's about you? What would you consider as the challenges these young people are facing in carrying out Peace 4 initiatives?
Yes. Thank you, Augustine. Our challenges are not far from what my brother Usman just mentioned. I will agree with him that there have been a lot of good initiatives from young people, that are left unsupported, in fact, yes, young people are being involved, but there their involvement and participation are not that meaningful. And I agree that another challenge is that from an institutional point of view, like Usman mentioned, we still have young people who are being given, the mantle of leadership in some of these institutions, but they are not entirely in control to make decisions. Yes, because if they so want to make decisions, they have to get orders from the above. So you find out that in as much as young people are given, the mantle of leadership, but they are yet, not given the full power to make decisions. And we need empowerment, I say. There is need for more youth-friendly, initiatives to empower young people, for them to at least make informed decisions, especially when it comes to during elections per se. Because for Sierra Leone, for Sierra Leone, we tend to be peaceful outside of elections, but when it comes to elections, during elections, our tendency for violence erupts. Yes, we tend not to see ourselves as brothers and sisters any longer because of our political differences. So it is important that it is challenging that young people are not empowered to see beyond that, to see that they actually, can effect change, and together they can, make the world as they want to, they desire, and all. Thank you.
All right. Now, let's just stick with you as we wrap up. What would you now recommend to policymakers, to authorities regarding the need to have these young people fully operational, like Usman said, so that they are also not just being invited, but they should be key players into the decision-making processes of their respective countries, their respective organizations and societies?
Okay,
Yes.
Is the question directed to me?
Yes. Bangura.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I think the one of biggest barrier to meaningful youthful participation is some of restrictive laws and policies. So, for example, for Sierra Leone law, it's only mandated for someone over 60 years, 45 years, yes, to be a president. So it is important that at least young people are given the opportunity to at least contest for the highest position in power, because young people can do it. So the biggest restriction for young people's meaningful participation has been restrictive laws and policies. So my recommendation is that some of these policies and laws should be modified, and refined to be youth-friendly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bangura is concerned about policies ensuring that they are youth-friendly. What about you, Usman? What would you need the young people to have so that they are actively involved with these peace-building initiatives?
Well, from the various developments that I've made, you could realize that we are not lacking institutional frameworks. We have them. We have the African Youth Charter. We have the Agenda 2063 of the African Union. Aspiration 6 of that Agenda 26 is an Africa that is people-driven, especially by young people and women. So young people in the scripts, they are recognized and they're even chanted for their participation and all of that. We have in every country on the continent a National Youth Council that is an official body that works directly with the government on issues relating to youth engagement. We have it here in Senegal, National Youth Council. We have it everywhere, and they all come together under the AU Youth Envoy. So you have this architecture that's already in place. In terms of policy as well, if you read the Africa Youth Charter, you realize everything is there. In 2017, for example, the theme of the year at the African Union Commission was harnessing the demographic dividend by investing in young people. That was the theme of the year. They developed a roadmap with 4 priorities to do that. education, civic engagement, political engagement, all of these things, health and well-being. But the problem is, as much as we write these policies and put in place these architectures, nothing is following up.
Are you concerned about the implementation of them?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. To make them operational, and for that to be operational, we just need to trust young people to lead the thing forward. We shouldn't need to have the institution in place, the policy in place, and then call young people and say, occupy. You know, like you just placeholders.
Is it that the trust is not there? They don't trust the young people?
It is. I mean, how else would you read it? Because actually we have young people in places, they just placeholders. They hold titles. Ambassador for peace, you travel opportunities to go to travel, you know, to tour the continent or even the world on debates around youth and stuff. But what is it really changing in the dynamics on the ground? So, I mean, we should really move beyond symbolic representation with these texts and these organizations that we put in place to really and effectively give the power to young people. And once we do that in a very organized way on a continental level, where, you know, everything would really flow naturally. Of course, every country has their priority, but if we organized and give young people the power, we already have a budget. 1% of the AU budget is dedicated to young people. So all that money and all that infrastructure and all those policies are just there. But young people are still, you know, crying for recognition and begging for opportunities. We're still jobless. You already know the situation on the continent. So it really tells you that we need to go beyond what is existing. We're not needing more policies or more organizations. Okay. We need trust. We need real power to enact change.
Indeed, this has been a rewarding conversation with you, Usma and Bangura. But Bangura, just before we take leave of you, finally, what are your parting comments to the young people across the African continent at large?
Yes. So, going quickly from what Usman said, you know, in as much as some trust have been placed in young people, but I think there have been some level of misplacement of priorities from governments or leaders. For example, in Sierra Leone, you know, recently a young person was trusted with the title Ambassador for Peace. For some reason, he was given the title because he has a large following. He's a popular musician, by the way, and he has some large following, yes. So because for one or two reasons, he's been involved in, you know, certain chaoses and he has influence to incite violence, he was given the title Ambassador for Peace. But that was just the end of it. We have not seen any, you know,
impact.
Tangible, yes, impact from him. When there is, in fact, there is a long queue of young people who are more than capable to take up that particular title, but they are being left out. Okay. You know, yes. So my message to young people across Africa is for young people to see themselves as the change makers, you know, and for them to seek and explore for opportunities to empower themselves, and you know, in order for them to see the change they want and bring development to, you know, in their communities and country as a whole.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on this wonderful edition, Saidu Bangura. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch with you on another edition of the program. Thanks so kindly.
Thank you.
And of course, Usman, I mean, your exposés are well understandable and it has reached a large audience. Thank you for being here today. We hope to have you another time.
Absolutely. It will be my pleasure.
Great. Well, listeners and viewers, this is where we call it a day on the 17th edition of Take the Lead here in West Africa, Democracy Radio Broadcasting on 94.9 FM, on YouTube at WADR News, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. It has been an amazing time to have you with us. Join us next Friday for another live episode of this program. Remember to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people in Africa. My name is Augustine Cully, wishing you all the best.
We thank you for listening to this program in Nigeria on Darling FM 107.3 or